is back, baby. Welcome to MLS Breakfast, looking at the MLS just without the in the MLS Breakfast show, which is what we are watching, what we're doing, and you're watching here today. This is MLS Breakfast. Today we are giving you a hot preview of Vancouver Whitecaps versus San Jose Earthquakes. I'm here in Vancouver. Ian Fiveankles, who used to play for the Michigan Computers in the National Indoor Soccer League of America in 1997, is in San Jose. Ian Fiveankles, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to serving up another hot breakfast.
Yes, that's right. Sometimes they do have cold breakfasts depending on the place in the country that you're in, and that's part of the excitement, part of the cultural culinary festival of this nation. Nations plural because I'm in Canada. But most it's actually hot in Canada, the breakfast, because the country is cold apart from in the summer. It's now the summer and it's hot. So we're going to still have a hot breakfast, but in the summer. Ian Fiveankles, Vancouver Whitecaps versus San Jose Earthquakes, 99.5% certain of actually happening. And that's the excitement of this tournament, that there's that 0.5% of uncertainty.
Yes, it makes it very exciting. It's kind of like Russian roulette. You turn up and you're not quite sure what's going to happen.
Before the hot preview, we are going to play our famous breakfast game. It's Wakey JK!
Wakey JK! Wakey JK!
Every day on this daily breakfast show, we say hello and wake up to another person called Jake, Jacqueline, Jacob, or if we're desperate, James or Jim. Today is no exception. Let's play. Well, I've done that bit. Right, it's calling. It's just... Oh, I love this bit.
So good.
Wakey JK!
Get up, Jake! Get up!
Wow. I can't believe I legally changed my name to Jake for this. Wow.
Okay, that's offensive. Now it's time for the hot preview of the Vancouver Whitecaps versus the San Jose Earthquakes. But before that, let's have a word from our sponsor. We are sponsored by the state of Iowa, or Iowa, depending on how you want to say it, for their MLS expansion team that they're planning to get over the line. A mini David Beckham here in 2039. Now, Ian, you've got an interesting story about Iowa, which lasts about 2.5 minutes.
Part of what makes this state so special for me is the fact that the infamous Ozzy Osbourne bat incident occurred here in this very state. So picture the scene. It's 1982. Mark Neal is a 17-year-old Black Sabbath fan at one of their gigs. He throws a live bat on stage. Ozzy Osbourne thinks it's a prop, so picks it up and bites it, and only then does he realise it's a real bat. He did get rushed to hospital for rabies injections as soon as he completed the concert, which is quite remarkable that he carried on till the bitter end of the show. And actually, that incident was in not just Iowa, it was in Des Moines, where Anthony and I are staying. And look what I found in the motel reception. It's the actual bat that Ozzy Osbourne chowed down on.
So why is it intact? Did he bite the back of it? Can you give us any explanation into why it's pretty much unbitten?
I don't think this will show up on camera, but I'm looking from the top and I can see that the back of the bat's head is sheared off. He basically took a chunk out of the bat's head. I don't know whether he swallowed it. I don't know what it tasted like, but there you go.
Now we are in, as ever, a different MLS city every single day. Des Moines, it's not an MLS city, not yet anyway, which is why we have flown out of our Airbnb in Des Moines over to a different city every single day. Ian, this is the second time you're in San Jose. You went there accidentally a couple of days ago when we weren't actually filming an episode of this show because of transportation difficulties. You got there late, you flew back before we had a chance to actually film the show. Second time there for San Jose, but I am in Vancouver for the first time. You've already been here. I can feel your imprint on the city as a whole.
Yep.
Botox was invented here. That's what all the people on the street have been telling me. And I'm thinking of getting my lips done straight after this episode before jetting back to the Airbnb motel in Des Moines to kick back, relax, and watch some hot, sweet MLS action. Ian?
I've always been tempted to get my ears done. I've always wanted a giant pair of ears.
Well, Vancouver, they might have invented Botox, but it's Brazil that really took it on and made it their own. Maybe I'll get a Brazilian done in Vancouver. Won't that be fun? This is a breakfast show. Every day we sample a different breakfast. I'm having some poutine. I've already eaten it, and let me tell you, it's repeating on me a little bit. It's chips in gravy. They call it the Sam Allardyce in England. They call it the poutine here because Jerry Poutine, he played for Bolton Wanderers in the 1980s, so there's the similarity.
Isn't poutine a very rude word in French?
Yeah. Ian, you're in San Jose. Tell us about all of that.
Yes, here I am in San Jose, and it's about this city that Dionne Warwick wrote her mass hit, Do You Know the Way to San Jose? And I believe she wrote that after wandering around in the desert for about 3 months. And I'm thinking, listening to it now, she must be of below average intelligence, because this place is massive. I do not know how you could miss it.
What did you have for breakfast, Ian?
Well, I went for vegan surf and turf. And it was bloomin' tasty, but I have to say I was ravenous, so I went for actual surf and turf afterwards. So sort of killed the vegan vibe.
What's a vegan surf and turf? Because it's pretty much all meat. It's a meat fest. It's the meat market.
Yeah, I think it's literally bits of grass and bits of seawater. It sounds grim. It's actually lovely, but you'd have to be a tiny dormouse to be filled up by that.
Well, a lot of dormice do live in the San Jose region, and a shout out to all the dormice out there and the dormice enthusiasts, many of whom are big fans of the San Jose earthquakes.
Why do they name the team after a disaster? I should imagine whenever there is an earthquake, that team name just becomes horribly offensive.
Well, it's on a tectonic plate there, and let me tell you this. They are worried about any time there's an earthquake, will it destroy the stadium? Will they have to move permanently to Disney, one of the many Disneys, to play their soccer? And they would love that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's one of the homes of football in the US, the Disney estate, ESPN's worldwide of snooker. Sports. They don't play snooker there, they play football. And let me tell you this, everyone is stoked to be out there playing in the bubble and just getting on with winning a tournament, apart from the teams that have left. Now, we're about to get on with our big preview, but first, the fan video of the day, MLS Superfan. Every day we ask for a video from a fan of an MLS team explaining why their team is going to win the tournament, and today is no exception. Let's take a gander at this little goose.
NYCFC. Why they're going? All the way. New York City Football Club. Why are they called that? I don't know. The sport's called soccer here in America. Maybe the club thinks that they'll convince players they're actually in Europe and they'll take their game that much higher. They play in a baseball stadium, but the real reason they're going to win? The mascot. The pigeon. What's the first word you think of when you hear the word pigeon? Strong, brave, fierce. That's the first word I think of. Think all the time you try to shoo away a pigeon. Does it care? No. It's stubborn. It's proud. That's the mentality these players are going to use to take them all the way.
Now it's time, almost, for the big preview, but first, let's take a look at the mascot of the day. It is San Jose's Big Blue Mess. His backstory is interesting. He is a bruise. He is the only walking, talking, anthropomorphic bruise in the history of mascots. That makes it a world first. Unclear whether it means that the Earthquakes will bruise the opposition or that they themselves are terminally bruised. But Ian, a bruise is worth a goal in this game.
Yeah, he looks like a bruise. He reminds me of the Colorado Contusions, who I came across a couple of times in my indoor soccer league.
Now it's time for the big preview of the Whitecaps versus the Earthquakes. And let me tell you this, Whitecaps of Vancouver, they are pumped for today's game. They have never been more prepared. They haven't actually played a game yet, and it just makes their preparation all the more important. They've prepared longer than any other team. They've prepared harder, but are they lacking that match practice by not actually playing? The Whitecaps, of course, they're the nearby mountains. They actually put in the summertime to combat the effects of global warming. They put a giant covering over the mountains to keep the snow frozen so that it doesn't melt and affect the nearby glaciers. That's why they call it the cap, a giant cap over the mountain. So it's not actually a mountain wearing a hat, although wouldn't that be a funny image, Ian?
That would be great. I would love to see a mountain wearing a hat. But I wouldn't just leave it as a baseball cap. I'd have mountains with top hats, mountains with bowler hats. I can't think of any more hats, but I want to see those mountains wearing them.
Well, sadly, this is just a big tarpaulin that they put over the top, and it's been the subject recently of the biggest Banksy installation of all time. He drew on the big peak, on the big tarpaulin. Just, he could have done anything. He could have done something really political. But fair play to him. He had the biggest canvas, and what better way to announce yourself to the North American market than just a big cock and balls. The Whitecap with its cock and balls, that's a statement, Ian. That's basically saying the world is in chaos.
Yeah, I think he's known for his intelligent political commentary, and I think what he's done there is he's gone so intelligent, he's tipped off the edge of the scale and come back in at stupid.
San Jose Earthquakes, Ian, you're an expert on them. You've been to the city twice. Just what's the atmosphere like there? How do they feel about the chances of their side?
The atmosphere is dead as a dodo here, Anthony. I can't find anyone to interview, so I'm assuming they're excited, but no one's saying anything, no one is visible. I've been standing in the street shouting, "Come and talk to me," for a couple of hours now, and those people I have seen, they tend to run in the opposite direction.
They're one of the oldest teams in America, having been founded in 1974. They're called the Granddads of soccer, the old soccer Granddads. Although a Grandad born in 1974 is quite a young Grandad, actually, in human terms. But in football terms, you're talking about an old Grandad. Not like the old lady of Juventus, who's a whole century older, but still an elderly soccer man.
Yes, and that's why they play with the big bushy eyebrows. They are the Granddads. It gives them a sense of entitlement. They play with a degree of authority because they're so old. It does. Their recruitment policy, they don't employ anyone under the age of 35 in the playing staff, which hampers them a little bit. And their sense of entitlement extends to them smoking a cigar and drinking a glass of port at half time. So I think they're going to struggle with this fixture.
And that's why, if they want to win the game, they need to rack up a 3 or 4 goal lead in the first 45 minutes, because just stamina-wise, especially in the Florida heat, the humidity, Granddads will struggle, even though Florida is home to a vast elderly population, Ian. How do old people over there cope with the humidity and the heat?
They have air-conditioned slippers. It's an area that is fairly rich in monetary terms, so they have slippers that blast cold air all the way up their legs. That's why when you see old people walking around in Orlando, if they've got shorts on, the shorts are inflated to an unlikely degree. I briefly thought when I was wandering around Orlando, I thought everyone had elephantiasis of the upper thighs. It's not, it's the air-conditioned slippers.
It's time now for our big feature. It's the I wanna predict
Anthony,
the score.
You've been struggling to say that for some time. I wonder if we should just call that "You Wanna Predict the Score."
Well, it's not the state of Iowa, is it? Or Iowa. It's Iowa. I wanna predict the score.
I've never understood what you're trying to say, even when you do this.
The average temperature in Des Moines is a cool 10 degrees C. So you take the 1 and the 0, that's binary, baby. It's 1-0 to Vancouver. Agree, Ian, or you disagree?
I disagree. The San Jose Earthquakes are also known as the Goonies, I think. I may be getting confused with another team now, but I think they're called the Goonies, and Goonies has 0-0 in the middle, so I say goalless, but them to go through on penalties.
Thank you, Ian. Now, what a wonderful time we've had here. Enjoy the game. Tomorrow, we're off to Atlanta. Even though there is no show, because you're not travelling, it says here on
I'm digging in hard.
The memo that you're just not going.
I'm digging in hard, Anthony. I think we should move to a show every other day. I cannot cope with this. It's literally going to be the death of me if you keep sending me all over the country. This country is massive. Why can't they do this in a smaller country? I'm happy to do it, but I'm only going to do it every other day, so I'm not travelling tomorrow. You can. I'm going to play table tennis with our landlady. She asked me to, and she scares me, so I couldn't say no.
Okay, well, you do that. I'm still going to Atlanta tomorrow. So I'm off to Atlanta just to kick back, relax on some MLS hot, sweet action before flying back to Des Moines in the evening, just to hook back up with you, and then kick back, relax, and watch some more hot, sweet MLS action. Then we are in. I'm going to the Real Salt Lake. You're going to Minnesota on Friday the 17th. Have a lovely time, Ian. We'll hook up back then. I'll see you soon, Ian.
See you in a bit.
See
Bye.
ya. Is he gone?
Hello?
See you soon.
Bye. Yeah, no, you hang up first.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying goodbye to the...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
Stop talking. See you on Friday.